Aloha and shalom. We're here for the full moon activation. Woo! So I'm going to go ahead and get ready, set up the cards, the setup. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. Feel free to share this video now while we're live with family or friends or someone who could use a message of inspiration and guidance right now. Maybe you know someone who has been struggling to decide what they should do right now in life, struggling to decide what's next, struggling to see themselves in the right light. This is for them. So send now while we're live. Or feel free to share the video at the end. The recording will be here on Facebook. It will also go to Instagram and YouTube, Rebecca Magic, as usual. So feel free to share it at the end. If there's someone who's not on Facebook, you'll still be able to share it with them. Let me know in the comments where in the world you're tuning in from. I'm tuning in from the Verde Valley, Arizona. And it's the new moon, the full moon. So this is going to be the third part of this 4-part cycle. A lot of people think that the full moon is the time where, it's full, it's at its fullest point and that's it. But no, this is the time where we really want to stay fully present to receive what's being illuminated, just present to receive it. And then next week for the final quarter, which the first quarter and final aren't talked about, right, as much as the new moon and the full moon, but they're equally as important. Of course, all the parts are equally as important. And so next week is all about the integration of what is coming in right now. So just like with any experience in life, you don't want to do the integration and the receiving at the same time. You want to fully be present for the receiving of the illumination of all the incoming information. And then after giving that some time, which the moon is a lovely guide as to how long. So after giving that a week, then you have a week to just integrate. We have South Dakota in the house. We have Michigan in the house. We have West Virginia in the house. Where in the world are you? Let us know in the comments. Okay, so full moon, we're receiving the fullness of the picture of what's been going on these last couple of weeks since the new moon, the new beginning, this new cycle. And now we're really seeing, okay, this is what's been going on. This is where I've come to with this cycle. This is all the work that I've done. It's now being shown to me. Okay, you want to think of like the major arcana moon card and how the sun comes after the moon and it's a sequence, right? So the moon card is that part of the story where we are reprogramming, where we're going deep into the subconscious and journeying there. And then the sun comes next, and that's where we shine all the work that we did in the darkness. That's where we shine and then self-reflect on that new illumination. How superficial is this light? What is the quality of this light? Is it true divine light that I've cultivated here? And then, of course, after that comes judgment, the judgment card, because that is the process, right? You reprogram, you shine that new frequency, you vibrate that new frequency, and then you reflect upon your own growth. And the judgment is where we then analyze that growth. Nebraska in the house, Missouri in the house, Ontario, Canada in the house. Where in the world are you? So boom, let's see where we are at right now with this full moon. How far have we come? What have we done? Where are we at? Just want to shuffle the Hebrew cards. They look like this. If you've never seen them before, they look like this. So remember, the deck is like you, and each card is a different part of you. It's also the collective consciousness and each piece of that collective. It's also a brain, and each card represents a different neural pathway. So when we shuffle, what we're really doing, don't let anyone tell you there's a wrong or right way to shuffle. What we're doing is just waking up all those parts of the self, activating the archetypes. And when you feel complete, that's when it's complete, when you feel it. Okay, giving thanks in advance for this map, this message of guidance that's about to come through from the realm of the archetypes, the realm of no time and no space. And they are one with us, so thank you, thank me, thank we, thank the one for this blessed map. Beginning with the current challenge and gift. This is going to show us how we can best receive the illuminations right now that this full moon has to offer. What we're stepping away from, which has specifically been the last 2 weeks, very specific. Why we're going through this right now. And the Hebrew letter for the week. The Hebrew letter ally for the week. Okay. Beginning with the challenge and gift. Queen of Cups. She was so prevalent today, this archetype, for my experience. So I wonder how all of you are feeling seeing this imagery pop up first. We're starting off the reading with a queen. And it's the Queen of Cups, which is the suit of emotions, feelings, and the heart. And the queen is the heart of hearts. She's also known as the card Water of Water. She's the wateriest, most, the feminine, heart-centered, okay? She's all about getting to the center of the heart, the center of the matter, getting to the bottom of these feelings. What are they showing me? What are they? What are the feelings I'm feeling? Let me be clear, what's mine, what's coming in from something else, even though that's also me, right? Like she has all these, she does this analysis around the realm of feelings. And she goes all the way in. She really feels it. And then the goal, if we have this archetype balanced, she's activated positively, what this archetype within us will do is help us to process and analyze our feelings and see what they're telling us. What are they showing us? What do they want us to know? And she is representing the challenge and gift right now. So for this full moon, how can you allow this light that's shining upon you to shine on all of those places that you may have been deceiving yourself, denying a certain feeling, brushing it off, pushing it under the rug, perhaps to make someone feel better. Perhaps you were just judging yourself for the feeling. It's not even coming from trying to appease another or keep another safe. Maybe it's just your own self-judgment. I shouldn't cry over this. I shouldn't feel this. The Queen of Cups within you says, yes, my child, if you're feeling the tears, definitely let them come out. There's no need to hold back. You can find a safe space, whether that's alone or with somebody you feel supported by. But the point is, whatever you're feeling, don't just shun it, especially right now. Remember, these lessons are timeless messages, okay? They're archetypal messages, so you can apply what you learn right now in this activation to all situations moving forward. And in fact, you can apply these lessons to past situations and still create a change. You can affect your future by the way that you perceive your past. So listen closely. We don't want to deny our feelings. Denying them doesn't put them in the right place. There's only one space. It's right here, right now. So whatever you're denying, it's still going to be there. You're only deceiving yourself. So right now she's saying, look more closely at what you're feeling. How can you let it tell you more? How can you milk this? How can you squeeze out all the opportunities that are within these feelings you're feeling? And you can practice, speaking of the past, you can practice meditating, going within and asking, where have I denied my feelings in the past? Perhaps due to my own judgments of myself or to make another feel comfortable and safe. Where have I denied my own feelings? And you can use those memories and this experience of processing as a way to affect the future, okay? You take the past, you take an experience you can remember where you denied a feeling, and then own it. Walk yourself through that experience. How would it have looked different if you own those feelings? if you truly do this visualization, if you truly find yourself in a place of receptivity as you do that work, you will certainly ace this challenge right now, because it seems like it's about the past, but there's no time and no space. So if you access the past to heal the now, then it's going to work just as good as it would if you had applied this strategy to a current situation. So perhaps start there and use the past as a ritual to affect the present and even the future. So right now as well, okay, that's one thing you can do, but also right now, look to your heart, look to your feelings, look to your emotions, specifically within relationship, the way that you relate to yourself, your relationships in your life that you have the most strings attached to, that, you know, the people that your energies are interwoven with, and really let how you feel dictate how you're going to handle your relationships, your situations. The queen comes before the king because she gets to the heart of the matter. She figures out what is there at the center. And then the king acts on it. Okay, so they all work together. When you get one card, know, like when you pull a card, it's connected to all of the cards. Okay, this tarot is a science based upon the very pattern that is behind all things, that is literally within your own DNA. So all cards are connected, but that's like a lot to take in, right? So you can start on a smaller scale by connecting this archetype to not just the whole rest of the deck, but to the rest of the suit. What do I mean by that? For example, if you get the Queen of Cups in a reading, you want to take out, even if it's just in your mind, extract the entire suit of cups and understand how one card relates to the others. Understand it's a sequence from the ace, the initiation of the opportunity, and then walking through all the numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then over to your court cards. Okay, they all work together. Whatever card you pull, it's denoting that you're going through a lesson in that particular dimension, which cups would be the dimension of emotion and water. And again, that's going to reflect in all the other dimensions, right? Because as in one, so in all. So however, you know, you move through the watery dimension of emotions, it's going to affect you then physically, mentally, spiritually, right? Because the emotions affect all the rest. They're all interconnected. But one thing you can do to not drive yourself crazy with trying to see all the interconnectivity, just trust it's there. Just trust it's there. And focus on the element that's pulled. So many people, you know, think that tarot is just for the masters, but tarot is for all of us. It's for anyone who wants to know themselves better. Okay, so again, we pulled cups. So we're going to think of the whole suit of cups. And obviously we've been going through something with relationship. Obviously we've been going through an initiation within the realm of emotion. And now with the full moon, we're coming to the point where we're getting to the heart of the matter. The feelings we've been feeling cannot be denied anymore. They're very clear. And chances are you've already been hearing what those feelings have been trying to tell you. Okay, so it's like we're already at the pinnacle of this archetypal theme, the Queen of Cups, coming to the center of the matter, the heart of the matter. And we're moving away from Major Arcanum card, the Devil, aka the Black Magician. And the devil is not something to fear, okay? The devil just represents where we have put ourselves in a prison, where we have manifested limitation for ourselves as a result of coming out of balance, as a result of, misinformation, receiving that as absolute truth. Ultimately, what this card represents is a distortion or perversion of the truth. And this happened, it's a whole card in the deck for a reason, okay? Because we often come to this point, and it could be something as simple as this. You have forgotten the true multi-dimensional definition of any one of the elements. So let's say water. You have come too far away from the true definition of what water is in its multidimensional forms, as it is connected to you, as you are created in its image. You have forgotten something about this element. Maybe you're denying your emotions. Hey, that's what they're showing me. Maybe we're in denial of a certain feeling. And so that's what's happening in our human experience. We're just denying a feeling. How bad can it be? But wow, listen closely to this. Listen closely. It may look like a simple, harmless, I'm just going to push that feeling away. But remember, you are a microcosm of it all. You are an embodiment of the elements. And so the way that you play with the elements as they exist within you affects the entire field. So when you just deny a feeling, what's happening is you're denying an expression of the water elements in your life and in your multidimensional experience. And that's going to seriously throw you off balance. And that's kind of what the devil represents. It's very simple. It's like something in our human experience just seems very human, you know? It's like very innocent. It's just this thing that we go through in our human experience. But what it's doing truly on a deeper level is throwing us off balance one way or another with one of the elements, with one of the dimensions, whether that's, you know, cups, the heart, emotions, or fire, spirit, our spirituality, okay? At the core of it all, you have these archetypes, and then they can be summarized into the elements. Everything is made up of these elements. So what you are doing in your human ritual, your everyday life, is affecting this elemental balance within you, and then within all things as it's reflected into the world. So it may seem very harmless, but understand the way that you play with this material reality, the way that you make this your living altar is going to affect that elemental balance or imbalance. And it's a constant balancing act. It's not something that's one and done, right? That's literally the whole point. So we should be excited and certainly not afraid of this, because it's a card. It's given a whole card for a reason. It's something that we come to experience again and again in the cycle, in the circle of life. It's never ending. Okay, so we're moving away from this perversion. And they're showing us very specifically what these cards are saying right now is that we're moving away from this imbalance, from this limitation, simply by reclaiming our power in the elemental dimensions, and more specifically in the realm of water and emotions. Simply by taking our power back and not denying our feelings, but really listening to each one and allowing them to guide our next choices in thought, speech, and action, is going to bring more balance to the elements as they exist within us and all around. So understand that the key to moving beyond whatever limitations you're experiencing right now is going to involve this not denying your feelings. And ultimately, on a larger scale, what this message is telling us is that we must not deny any one part of ourselves. For whatever reason the ego may give, every part of the self needs acknowledgement, needs acceptance, needs maintenance, right? Every part of the self needs like mother, father, God care, okay? Every part of the self needs nourishment. It's like a little child. And however whether that child's behaving and they're like amazing and they're like intelligent and they're on their game, or that child is slipping, and that child is angry, that child is needy. It literally doesn't matter. The archetypes are expressed on the entire scale, from the dark to the light. Everything is in archetypal emanation or expression. Therefore, every part of yourself needs to be heard, seen, expressed, and maintained, supported, guided, as a little child would. Because if we don't hit all the spots, if we don't, check all the boxes and take care of all the parts of the self, and just one goes unheard, goes ignored, becomes abandoned, then we're going to experience an imbalance in our overall frequency, which is absolutely manifested by the elements themselves. And I want to paint a picture for you. And for those of you who asked about my Ring of Light workshop, we're going to go deep into exactly what I'm about to mention, okay? There's this God light, this white light, this infinite light, the all virtuous light, the light of compassion, right? It's one infinite light. It splits into the two, the forces of polarity. Then it splits into the four elements. And then the tarot, the major arcanum, is an extension of those four elements. okay? It's showing us all of the parts of ourselves in a complete system that are reflections of different combinations of the elements, okay? So each archetype in the major arcanum is a different expression, a different configuration of the frequencies of the elements. Okay, so they are a bridge ultimately to the elements, who are a bridge to the polarities, who are a bridge to the one. If you want to know more, ask me about my Ring of Light workshop that's coming up, so I can include you, okay? So again, on a grander scale, what's happening here is we need to recognize where we're denying any part of ourselves in any realm, and understand that that's the way to break free from limitation, because limitation only comes when we are not integrating certain parts of ourselves, when we are abandoning certain parts of ourselves. Because if we truly had our whole alliance of archetypes activated, if we had all the elements being acknowledged and expressed in service of the one, right, doing their purpose, doing the whole job that we came here to do, that's the only way to continue to break free from limitation. That's literally actually the key to our liberation and to continuous psychological and spiritual expansion. That's literally it. That's the key, is to integrate the whole, to integrate the Archetypal Alliance, to integrate the light of compassion into our being and into the world. If you do that, when you do that, you cannot be trapped. You cannot be limited. The devil herself can't hold you back. Okay, so on a larger scale, this is showing us to always stay in check. Use the elements. They're your allies, and we are their ally. They want to be used, okay? Use the elements to kind of summarize your experience, and know that if you pay special attention to each of the elements, what you're doing is you're acknowledging the different parts that make up you. You're giving them attention. You're honoring them. You're thinking, how can I use this for the highest good? That's essentially asking, how can I use myself for the highest good? Okay? What you do with the elements, you do to yourself. Okay? And relating this to right now, this full moon right now is trying to show us where we've been denying a part of ourselves within the emotional realm. What feeling have you been denying? It has a message for you, so cut that out. Pay attention. Hear it. And free yourself from whatever this thing is, because you've been trying too hard to free yourself from this negative habit and, pull yourself out of it, pull yourself out of the temptation and the distraction and the limitation. And that's not going to be sustainable. The true sustainable way to go about it is to look at where you're denying any one part of yourself right now, specifically in the realm of emotion. Here it is again. You guys recognize the Ten of Swords came up recently for us. Looks really scary. This also looks really scary, but they're not scary. And so this was pulled at the bottom. Why are we going through this? Why are we breaking free from limitation and looking at these feelings and looking at them no matter how uncomfortable they are? It's so that we can end this program once and for all, end those crappy habits that were born of this limitation, this self-limitation. We're tired of it. We're done. I already said it. This card is just backing up what we just said, which is, stop trying to go about it the hard way. Work smarter, not harder. Stop trying to just give up the temptation. Just give it up. What do you mean just give it up? You got to get to the roots, okay? That's why this is swords. You got to cut it out. This is the suit of challenges and opportunities. So again, we're going through this so that we can once and for all cut out these habits that were born of this place of self-limitation. And understand this, when we come out of that place, it's by our own doing. Everything is by our own choices and thoughts, speech, and action, right? So when we go through this and we really acknowledge our feelings and our emotions, they're going to tell us more about who we are and what we should do next. And naturally, as a byproduct of that process, we're going to end those programs with greater ease, with more grace, with less catastrophe and crisis, because we're not going about it the hard way and just trying to deny that feeling. Because even that's a denial of feeling. We're really connecting the dots here, okay? This is the juicy part. They're showing the full circle here with all the cards. The reason that method wasn't sustainable was because you were just denying a feeling. You didn't have the actual understanding or the strategy to break free from these negative patterns because the feeling was still there. Nah, you already got addicted. You already had that feeling in you, and that feeling arose, and your intuition said, no, don't deny that feeling, not because your intuition's a dirty little devil and wants you to stay stuck. No, but because your intuition deep down knows that there's a right, sustainable way to go about the process that's going to bring the greatest healing to the one and all. And so your intuition said, no, that's not the way to do it. Because if you're denying a feeling, even if the feeling is wrong, what you're doing is training yourself to not listen to what you feel in general. And so, you developed this feeling, and though it feels good, it's not good for you. It's like, how do we go about it then? I can't just deny the feeling. My intuition said that's not safe. That's not a safe strategy. The intuition is now saying the way to do it is to return to yourself. Heart of hearts, baby. Heart of hearts. Come back to who you truly are. What is at the center? What are you really feeling? Because if you're denying any one feeling, you're denying a major part of yourself. You're also limiting yourself from opportunities that could have come in through the elemental door of water, through the realm of emotion. You're saying no. And all you thought was, I'm just pushing away that little feeling. Oh no, you're closing doors, baby. You're closing doors. You're saying no to opportunities that you've prayed for. So turn it around right now and understand the reason you could not just step out of this before was because your intuition said, we're not going to train ourselves to not listen to our feelings. We're going to let our feelings guide us. And that's the priority order. When we come back to the heart, and we don't deny any feelings, and we fully embrace those feelings and allow the true heart to guide the way, which there's a tarot card for that, okay? And it's 555 here right now, and the tarot card is number 5, the Hierophant, the teacher in the heart. She knows about that. She's the one in you who connects to that inner teacher, who feels her feelings and feels her way through to the center where the teacher lies. And that teacher is the truth, light, love, the one at the center. Okay, so when we do that, naturally we break free from limitation. And then it's not so hard anymore. And not only do we not have to deny our feelings, we actually have to go into our feelings, but the right ones, you understand? So what the archetypes are telling us right now is that you can't just deny any feelings, allow them to guide you. Tune into your true heart, the true teacher in your heart. And when you truly tune in there, what happens is you attune yourself to that frequency of compassion, of truth, of love, of light. And through that embodiment and through the maintenance of that embodiment, right? Like action upon this light, acts of goodness, acts of virtue, keeping it going. Through this process, you will break free from your limitations naturally. Let's look at it from another angle. When you tune into the heart, when you tune into that frequency, it's the frequency of balance, right? Like the heart is that infinite void. There's no time and no space, right? So when you tune in there, it's the ultimate balance. Think of the true card number 8 in the tarot, Justice, aka balance. No, it's not card 11. It's actually 8. Change your decks, quick, run. Just kidding. And so in there is balance. And when you go straight there and you tune in there, you right away get a taste for that frequency of what it's like when the elements are balanced. And then when you come out of that meditation and back into this world of multiplicity, that contrast of that vibration of balance, elemental balance, that contrast of that next to this, the frequency you've been holding due to a manipulation of that balance, due to a misunderstanding of that balance, due to a perversion of what that balance is, that contrast can say so much. Okay, so the right order is don't deny your feelings. Don't just try to break free from habits by denying yourself the pleasure, because deep inside, you're still not forming the understanding of why you need to break free. You still don't have the incentive. You still don't have the ultimate inspiration to break free. It's still a denial of your feelings, and that we're not doing that here. Through acknowledgement of our feelings, we're going to heal. Through acknowledgement, not just of one feeling or another, but all of them, and then coming to the center of what they're all trying to show us. And then action upon that. That's what's going to carry us out of this limitation, and also once and for all break those habits that were formed by that perspective we were so anchored in just recently. You know, it's like when you quit a bad habit, it's usually like this magical process and it just happens. You're like, oh, like that was it. And it's because likely it was because you found the right inspiration. You found true inspiration. You didn't focus, what's the quote, right? You don't focus on breaking down the old, but on building the new. Same concept. And Mem is the Hebrew ally of the week, and Mem is the letter that represents the water element. There is a Hebrew letter for each of the elements, and Mem is the one for water. If you've been following me for a while, you know I've been talking about this for years. And there it is. If there was one letter we had to connect to this card, it would absolutely be Mem. The Queen of Cups, I told you she's the water of water card. Water on top of water. So it's just saying this is our ally right now. Mem is water. It's also the mother, the great mother. And Mem is connected to Arcanum 13, death. Because death is truly only rebirth, which is what water represents, right? The eternal spring, the fountain of youth. So she's our ally right now. And basically she just affirms everything we just said, right? Like it's so important for us to activate that process where we tune into the center of centers, tune into our heart and our emotions. Yes. But being that she's connected to rebirth and eternal life, how does that elevate this message? How does it activate it further? She's saying, apply this message, and every activation, apply it to the eternal life experience. Apply it beyond this little life and this body and this human experience. Take this lesson and apply it across time and space. Don't allow time or space to limit you in the way that you're receiving this very message. This is always with the activations, because these messages come in from the place of no time and no space, right? The realm of the archetypes. And so she's reminding us that the more you apply this message across timelines, the more you're going to continue to get out of it. Kind of like we did at the beginning of this message, right? Where you can use the past to heal the future. Okay, she's bringing us full circle right now. Okay, Mem is saying that we can apply this across all timelines. So I'm just going to, for the people who are just coming in, or maybe you forgot, I'm going to remind you of what they said just a bit ago in this activation. You can go to a time in the past where you denied a feeling, and you can walk yourself through what it would look and feel like had you not done that, had you owned the feeling, and had you allowed it to guide you. And I'll tell you, this is going to affect us on such a grand level if you do this work, because you who are watching is so powerful. You are so powerful. And if you do this work, when you do this work, it's going to look like this. You're going to go back to the past. You're going to think of all those times you didn't honor your truth and who you are and your feelings. And you're going to not beat yourself up over it now, okay? But you're going to go back, and as that evolved you, sort of like the mother father of this past self, you're going to go back and you're going to look at the ways that you denied yourself and your truth and your feelings. And you're going to go, oh, well, let me imagine if I didn't do that, what would that look like? And just envisioning the healed timeline is so empowering, not just for you, but for all of us as one. So thank you. And how it's going to affect the future when you do this is it's going to give you more motivation and confidence, because we're not going to have regrets, and we're not going to have shame, and we're not going to waste our time and energy being upset that we didn't share those feelings, okay? But what we are going to do is walk ourselves through, had we not done that, right? And we're going to go, wow, that gives me inspiration and motivation to own my feelings right now more than ever before. I feel like I'm going to break this chair. Like it's literally wobbling right now. I have to be careful with my excitement. Just kidding. I'm going to own it. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to break this chair. But that's the thing. That's how we have to be. This is the gift that Mem is bringing. It's bringing us full circle here in this reading. It's saying, use this technique of balancing the scales, right? All the times that you didn't own your feelings, now we have to make up for that. And again, it's not something to be upset about. It's exciting. It's the game. This is how life works, okay? We mess up so that we can go back and repair with greater consciousness, with more unity. Okay, that's why we make all these mistakes, and that can bring solace, okay, to you as a I just combined 3 words. You as a hurting human in this crazy, chaotic time we live in, you can find solace in understanding this very concept that we mess up as individuals and as groups and as one collective, because it's a part of divine order. Nothing's outside of that. And we mess up so that we have the opportunity to use our free will individually and together to repair the world. In Hebrew, it's called tikkun olam. So actually, there's like a whole philosophy about this, okay? We use our newfound consciousness and the higher frequency of our evolved unity to go back and heal and repair. And I'm pretty sure it's in Japan, right? With the pottery, when it breaks, they seal the cracks with gold. Same concept, okay? So this is how you can apply this message to your life right now, is looking at how you didn't share your feelings and allow the experience of envisioning how it could have been different to inspire you and motivate you to right now access this strategy, this map that they're giving us, to the best of our potential, maximizing our potential. Because when they give us these messages, the forces that be, the cosmos and nature, are saying right now, if you do this work, we're going to multiply the benefits exponentially. Like, we're going to support you so much to do exactly this right now, right? Like, the universe loves when you follow your intuition, and it matches you, right? It's like those days where it's like, donate $100 today and all of our sponsors will match that and double that. Like, that's literally how the universe works. Like, this is amazing. So do this work right now and be inspired by your past and all the ways that you held back, and know that it was like a slingshot, baby. Right now, you're about to spring forward by the power that you cultivate through this work. You're going to be so excited about sharing your feelings, looking back and going, ooh, yeah, I played small and that got me there, but I want to be here now. So I'm going to fully own my feelings. And again, as always, with compassion. Because that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point. Express your feelings fully. Don't deny any part of yourself. But as you explore those parts of yourself, as you explore those feelings, you're like the high priestess, okay? She's the archetype in each one of us, male, female, whatever, whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, doesn't matter. This archetype is within all of us. And the high priestess goes, what's going on in there? And how can I express that in a healthy way? And she, like all the archetypes, sees through the eye of the fool, the lens of the fool. And this is all about compassion and oneness, unity consciousness. So we can make the most of our experiences by looking through this lens of the fool. This is my first chapter in my first book. Check it out, okay? The Fool's Lens. So when we see that we are this archetype, this high priestess for this balance within, maintaining this balance within, we understand that we have a duty to express this balance with compassion. And you see who comes after the high priestess? The empress. The high priestess is the keeper of the balance, and the empress is the manifestation or birth of that internal and inherited birthright of balance. So we're all those archetypes. So I'm just bringing more of them into the story because they're all present. Even though we do these readings, all the cards are always present and they always have more to say. So remember to fully express yourself now. Receive the inspiration from the past when you didn't do that. Know it was all in perfect timing, and use that as motivation to spring forward right now with compassion. Compassion is the key. Be compassionate with yourself and with others as you express these parts of yourself and this truth. Okay? Because it's not just your archetypes, everything is made up of these archetypes. They're the building blocks of reality. So it's not just about, acknowledging your archetypes. It's about acknowledging the archetypes. And they make up all things, and they are inside of and all around the people that you're going to be expressing your truth to, the spaces that you're going to be filling up with this expression. So be mindful. It's not just about your own archetypes. It's about the Archetypal Alliance, and yours is just a microcosm, just like your body and the one, okay? So compassion is key. Fully be ready to honor your feelings and express your truth, and understand that that can absolutely be done compassionately. In fact, it's not done with compassion when you deny a part of your expression. When you deny a part of yourself, that's actually not loving at all. It's actually very inconsiderate for the one, especially if you're awake to the consequences and you're aware that when you deny a part of the self, it really affects all of us. And it affects the elemental imbalance within all things, right? When you really know that responsibility, it's like, you got to do the right thing. You got to do the right thing. So denying a part of yourself is not the right thing. It's not loving. So you owning your truth is compassionate. You acknowledging all of your feelings is compassionate. It's just about how we're going to express them. Are we going to do it in a way that's considerate not only for the voices of my archetypes? Like, for example, I don't want to say, this archetype hasn't been heard in years and my inner high priestess is very offended that you, la 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 la. No, we're not going to do that. We're still going to practice nonviolent communication. We're still going to practice being virtuous people and having compassion. But when you understand that everything is made up of the archetypes, then you begin to understand that anytime you're expressing yourself, you're expressing one of the archetypes to all of the archetypes as they exist within all things. So it's almost like, say you have the death card in you, like the death archetype really needs to speak up. I'm going through a major shift. I've been hiding it, but I need to come out with this, right? You stand up. You want to imagine like you are embodying mainly the frequency of that archetype in that moment. Okay, this is what I'm presenting to the world. And the world is going to look like the archetype standing right in front of you. Okay, so like really create this visual in your head. It's like you are the death card. Okay, I'm transformation. And in front of you are all the other cards of the deck. In fact, in front of you is also even the death card, many reflections of that same archetype. So how is your transformative expression, your feelings around change, death, rebirth, transformation, speaking to that same frequency as a mirror all around you? How is your archetype talking to the other archetypes? When you see things in that way, it's much easier to embody compassion and embody all of the virtues within that all virtuous frequency. It's easier to be patient, to be kind, to be helpful, to be honest. It's easier to be those things when you understand why we have to be those things and how it's connected to our purpose and our experience as humans and as souls. The archetypal lens, okay, having an understanding of the way archetypes operate within and all around us is going to elevate your experience so much. In fact, if you don't have this understanding, a lot of times you're going to deny aspects of yourself or aspects of your reality or aspects of others you're in relationship with. Okay, it's very easy to fall into denial, whether that's self-denial or denial of any part of our reality, when we don't have a system or a strategy to stay alert and aware of all the parts within the one. And on the contrary, when you do have a strategy and a system, the tarot, the true tarot, to understand and work with these different parts, changes your life. It empowers you. It allows you to have the most power you possibly can have, to be able to use your free will in this realm of law and limitation, because that is the human experience. So, just wrapping it up here, they're saying, now is the time to look at where we're denying a feeling. Understand what it's trying to show us and take action upon it. And through that process, we will end many negative programs of thought, speech, and action. They will simply fall away because they won't be in alignment anymore with this newly integrated self. And on a larger scale, what they're saying is, if you ever deny any part of yourself, not just within the realm of cups and emotions, but if you're denying any part of yourself, you're going to limit yourself, because at the very core of who you are, you're throwing off your elemental balance. And that elemental imbalance is going to emanate and manifest as the devil, limitation. And from that limited place, we start to think in a limited way, we start to speak in a way that reflects that limitation, and then we start to behave in those ways, which leads to the negative habits. And again, we're not just going to deny ourselves the pleasure we've been getting from that habit, because there's still going to be some voice inside that's saying, why are you denying me? We don't want to train ourselves to deny our feelings. No, we want to go about it the right way, the sustainable way, by tuning into the center of centers, tuning into our hearts and the truth and love and eternal balance that lives there. And when we tune in and reattune ourselves, remember who we really are, those habits will stop. We will come back to a space of balance. And the elemental balance, that frequency that we embody, will be renewed. And from there, we will break free. We will feel some level of liberation. Okay? So go get out there, get in the water, feel your feelings, do whatever you have to do to tap into the dimension of water and emotions. Really look to what's there. And again, this is a process we've already been going through. The full moon is just going to show you any cracks or leaks. Maybe show you one little piece that you haven't been seeing, okay? Because you have been seeing, you have been listening to your feelings, and they have been telling you, this thing you've been doing ain't really you. This job is not really you. This relationship is not really you. And you've been listening, but now really hear it fully and declare to the moon, declare to the one, I hear you, I hear me, I hear this emotion and what it's trying to tell me, and I vow to heed its advice. I vow to follow its guidance. And please, hear my sincerity and hear my authenticity in this, and allow the light of this full moon to illuminate any blind spots, because I'm committed. I promise you, me, we, self, that I'm going to do this work. And remember, God helps those who help themselves, okay? Nature helps nature. Life supports life. So when you make this declaration, this commitment to yourself, then they're going to help you. We're all going to come to support you and enhance what is already there. Thank you for being present for this activation. Thank you to everybody who has been asking about my books. I am so available for one-on-one readings right now, whether that's virtual or in person. Reach out to me, direct message me, email me, info@royalpathtarot.com. Donations are an amazing way to give back to this weekly gift. My Venmo is Rebecca-Magic with a CK. My Cash App is just Rebecca Magic, my name with a CK. And there are other ways too, so if you're really wanting to give back, thank you, reach out. Another great way to give back is to leave a review, facebook.com/royalpathtarot, leave a star review there, or email me your words, info@royalpathtarot.com. And you guys, don't forget, I have an entire video course, over 30 hours of material on the major arcanum and the occult symbolism. So reach out, let me know you want that course, you want my books, you want a reading, and I'm so here for it all. Happy full moon. Shalom. I'll see you next week.